Jagat Guru Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Kula Churnamani Sarva Shastra Siddhantavit Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai Rupanuvagra Bhagya Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Jai Sri Chaitanya Saraswata Acharya Brinda Ki Jai Samadvaita Vaishnava Mandali Ki Jai Kol Kartel Ki Jai Shri Harinama Sankirtan Ki Jai Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bo. Welcome everybody to our regular Sunday afternoon broadcast from the East London branch, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Math. And today the 23rd of June, and we are as usual going through the works of our Divine Master, Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj, who is the founder Acharya of the Sri Chaitanya Saraswata Math, and these many books that have been published from his informal talks given at the Navadip Sri Chaitanya Saraswata Math between 1981 and 1988. So currently we're going through the Centenary Anthology. Yes. So this is chapter 6, which is called Specific Service. So this is Srila Sridhar Maharaj speaking. So first is a question, a very relevant question always. The disciple sees his guru as absolute, but others may see the same person in a relative conception. So is the guru relative or absolute? Very good question. Guru Maharaj's reply. Generally, the advice is that in the beginning, the disciple will look towards his guru as the representative of the Supreme Lord himself. But when he makes some progress and inner enlightenment begins, he will gradually find that Krishna, the Absolute, has a particular system, an organic whole, and he has his potencies of different varieties.
We can't hear anything there.
Oh, sorry, I forgot the put this on. Sorry, I always forget. It's better? You can hear that?
Yes.
Okay, that's always a problem, don't we? Forget to put the microphone on. Okay, so I'll start from that again. Generally, the advice is that in the beginning, the disciple will look towards his guru as the representative of the Supreme Lord himself. But when he makes some progress and inner enlightenment begins, he will gradually find that Krishna, the Absolute, has a particular system, an organic whole, and he has his potencies of different varieties. According to the disciple's inner awakenment, he will have fitness for a particular class of service. That will be considered, and he will be taken under guidance into that particular type of service. When one sees his guru, gradually, according to his innate capacity and quality, he will find Dasya Rasa, Sakya Rasa, Vatsalya Rasa, or Madhura Rasa. The government grants the service. He will face some examination, some test, and he'll be put in a particular department where he will find his immediate boss under whom he will serve and be guided. That is the general situation, and he will find his maximum gain there. At first, the whole system is as if one. Then a devotee will find himself in a particular part of that system, arranged according to his fitness and awakenment. Then gradually he will be posted as a servitor to a particular guru under whose guidance he will do anything and everything required of him. At first, Guru is seen to be Krishna himself, and then he will be seen in a further way. Radharani and Jashoda are heading their particular section, and in Madhura Rasa, the parampara comes via Rupa Manjari to our Gurudev. There is oneness, unity, but more efficient service may be drawn from a particular point rather than a higher point. Everyone has their particular capacity in service, and if they serve from there, they will be best utilized. If located in a higher circle for which he has no such fitness, enmity will be created and he will be the loser. Do you follow? The questioner says, it's still not so clear to me. Guru Maharaj says, Acharjamam Vijanayat, from Srimad Bhagavatam. In the beginning state, we are told that the Acharya, the Guru, is Krishna. Then Raghunath Das Goswami, the Acharya of Prayojana, the ultimate goal, says that the Acharya's position is not that of God himself, but it is that of his most favorite, Mukunda Prestate. Ultimately, we find that Krishna's dearmost is in the department of his potency, and that is Guru. We have to harmonize between these two approaches. Shakshad Daritvena Kintu Prabhuja Priya Eva Tasya. From the Guru Vastakam. In the beginning, it is mentioned in the Shastra that Brahma means the Absolute as a whole. But by clearer vision, we see that there are Narayan, Vasudev, Ramchandra, and so many forms of the Lord. And by even clearer estimation, we will find Krishna to be within. One time when Krishna was in a conference with Lord Balaram and Uddhava, they saw a mass of light approaching them. Then after a little time, a figure became visible within that mass of light. Then after the light mass approached even closer, they could see the figure of a male person. And when closer still, they could see, oh, it is Devashi Narad who has come. In this way, from afar off, you may get a conception of the whole, just as by viewing the Himalayas from a distance you can see many things. But as much as you approach, you will find just specific parts, but with more clarity. And when you actually arrive, you will find your Lord and your friends, and you will mix there. At that time, you do not find the whole of the Himalayas, but you are located in a particular position, and there, not with the whole, you will find that the desired end of your life has been fulfilled. Similarly, when you approach Krishna from afar, he is Sat Chit Ananda. He is infinite. Then as you approach him, because you are small, you will be located in a particular position. In this way, according to your fitness, you will be taken into a particular position of service. There you will engage in whatever service is required of you, and from there you will draw the fullest satisfaction of your nature. Guru means guide. At first we are guided by attraction to the wholesale Bhagavan, Krishna, and this helps us to make progress towards him. Then the more we gain, the more the big hazy vision is eliminated, and a particular place becomes more clearly revealed. In this way, our vision, actions, and everything about us will become located in a particular part of the infinite. And by carrying out my specific duty there, we will draw our highest benefit. In the department of rasas, Shanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhura, you will gain admission in a particular section of service according to your capacity. In each rasa, there are also so many subsections and different departments of service. And according to your innermost fitness and capacity, you shall be given a place there. Ultimately, you'll be told, do your duty here, and you will see to that duty. Whatever your immediate guide, your guru, asks you to do, you will do that and thereby receive your best benefit. Religion means proper adjustment. There are so many acharyas. Even in the Gaudiya mission, you have come to your particular guru in the mission, and under him there are many different departments of service. Some are selling books, some are delivering lectures, and so forth. And according to your own fitness, you are given service in a particular department. But still you see that you are in connection with the whole mission. Wherever you are posted, you are connected with the whole, but you have your specific duty in a particular place. You joined the Gaudiya mission, but it is a huge thing, with so many departments, so many mots, and so many duties. But where is that mission? At first it is a hazy thing, a big thing. Then after you were admitted, you were taken in and placed in a particular direction. Your attention was directed towards some post. You went there, and gradually you were given some duty to discharge. The whole of the mission is yours, but still you have a particular department and a particular duty, and that will increase more and more. It is possible that you may become the personal secretary of your Gurudev, or a preacher, or a cook for your Guru Maharaj, and some may be asked to go to other places to preach. Sometimes there may be dangerous places for the devotees, but someone also has that kind of duty. Adjustment is necessary. First there is entrance within a mission, then adjustment begins. Religion is proper adjustment according to the fitness of the man who is given admission. Do you follow now? Yes, I follow, but I still have some query. Then Guru Maharaj replies, what query can you still have? You will be placed somewhere according to your fitness and necessity. Necessity is of different types, and according to your fitness you will be given a particular duty. What difficulty is there in understanding this? Proper adjustment means that you are approaching the infinite, but you cannot swallow the infinite within you. You are detached, you are infinitesimal, and you are approaching the infinite. So you have to be located in a particular position of the infinite. You are to adjust in this way. You cannot devour the whole of the infinite within your belly. Do you like the idea of devouring the whole of the infinite within your belly? Therefore, you have to be located in a particular infinitesimal position, and you will draw the maximum remuneration from that. If you are in some other place, you will be the loser. According to fitness, adjustment comes to us. It is quite reasonable, and our duty is to pay full attention there. And say this was often Guru Maharaj's, this is often Guru Maharaj's way. His thinking is on another plane, so people would ask him a question expecting some particular kind of answer, and then often he would answer in a completely unexpected way to that. So in this case we can see he wanted some sort of a general conception about Guru, and why one Guru is seen as by his disciples as absolute, and why the non-disciples, if you like, don't see that person as absolute. And that was what he was asking for, but Guru Maharaj went in a higher way, explaining how that in rasa, according to one's innate potential, one will be located in a particular position in rasa, and according to one's fitness. And then he brings it back a little bit to in this mission as well, that happens. So we often saw that. At least I can say that I asked Guru Maharaj questions sometimes, and the answer was a totally unexpected answer, so sometimes we're kind of pushing for a particular answer, but Guru Maharaj has his own way In fact, once when I was in Navadvip, we had one devotee. He's still around, good man, and he's I think from Austria, and very Germanic nature, you know. And so he came. He was friends, very close friends with Krishnananda Prabhu, who was from Hyderabad. So together they were there. And one morning they came to see Guru Maharaj, and we were all going to see Guru Maharaj in the morning, you know, so for hear his talk. So he got to the bottom of the stairs. He's coming from one way, I'm coming from another, and I said to him, "Oh, good morning, Prabhu. How are you?" And his reply was, "That is a relative conception." I said, "Oh, sorry, sorry, I asked." Anyway, then we went upstairs, and we sat with Guru Maharaj, and Guru Maharaj said, "Anyone has a question?" And then that devotee says, "Yes, Maharaj, I'm studying for PhD, and I've chosen my subject of PhD will be Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Das Mula." So Guru Maharaj said, "Okay, very good." So there was not many of us there, right? So then Guru Maharaj starts speaking about Das Mula. It wasn't recorded, sadly, because it was a brilliant talk. So Guru Maharaj is explaining to him Bhaktivinoda's Das Mula, and at the same time he says, also Nimbarka Swami, he made a Das Mula too, and so he's like explaining that one and comparing and contrasting, and like it was like a really marvelous talk, you know. But about halfway through, that devotee and his friend, they just bowed down and left. They had something else to do, I suppose, you know. But Guru Maharaj is more or less blind then, so he can't see that they've got up and gone. So he's just carrying on talking as if he's talking to that man. And so with his like blurred vision, he's looking, and I'm sitting there. So he's focusing his look on me, thinking that I'm him, you know. So then he finishes this talk, and he says like, "What do you think?" he says, and I say, "Yeah, man, just fantastic, yeah." And then he says, "But this PhD, this mundane scholarship, we hate it. We hate it from the very core of our heart." And then, you know, Guru Maharaj going on in this way, and he's saying, you know, like what right they have to make any critique of Mahaprabhu's Siddhanta or Bhaktivinoda Thakur's work or this, and you know, then he's saying like this, "We hate it," and then he says to me, thinking I'm him, "So what do you say?" And Guru Maharaj's secretary, his name was Bajranarayan Prabhu, and he is a big man, like as big as I am now, I guess, and young, and he's from Canada, and he just started laughing, and when he laughed, his whole body would shake, you know. He's like this big belly laugh, he's laughing, and Guru Maharaj looks at him and says, "Is what I'm saying funny? Why are you laughing, you know?" And he said, "Because that man, he left about an hour ago." And Guru Maharaj said, "Oh, then who am I speaking to?" And he says, "Oh, it's Devashis Prabhu." And then Guru Maharaj starts laughing. He's laughing. And then he looks at me and he says, "But that means that was meant for you. What I told was meant for you." Okay, good enough. So, from what we just read, does anyone have a question arising from that?
Yeah, one's capacity or fitness for a particular position, is that kind of set? Is that your intrinsic nature, or does that change over as you make progress?
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be assessed by somebody who can see, first of all, you know. Often we just post people because of our own necessity, you know. Oh, we need a cook. Well, he can be a cook, you know. Or that might be an awful cook, but But when you're talking about higher things, of course, then not just like specific service in the mission or whatever. When we're talking about higher things like rasa and stuff like that, then yeah, that will be that the guru sees some innate capacity in the disciple, if he has that vision. But it may generally it is a potential thing, right? So it's a potential thing, but once it's realized, it's generally fixed. I say generally because sometimes it's not always fixed. So, in a general sense, when there's an example given in Jaiva Dharma, one devotee in there, I think his name's Bijoy Kumar, and his guru is like Harinam Guru. That guru, he is in Sakyarasa. And during the course of their relationship, Bijoy Kumar says to him, "Oh, when I chant Krishna Nam, sometimes I get overwhelmed with this feeling that I want to string garlands for the divine couple." And and then his guru says, "Oh," after like examining him, that's called tatasta bichar. Tatasta bichar means when the guru examines the disciple to see what is their inner potential, in the spiritual sense, not just in are they a good cook or can they give a lecture or whatever, but in the deeper sense. So he says, "Oh, that is." First of all, when he realizes that's actually real, that has to be real, not just like some kind of mental, whimsical thing. But when he realized, yes, that's a real thing, then he said, "Oh, I can only instruct you so far because you're displaying symptoms of Madhura rasa, and my rasa is Sakya rasa. But I can introduce you to another guru, Gopal Guru Goswami, who is a disciple of Swarup Damodar, and he is in Madhura rasa. You can like learn from him." So although in a general sense one can only have one Diksha Guru, one can have many Shiksha Gurus. But then there should be some necessity for that. In our stage here, then it's not so relevant. We don't even need to think about that in our stage. Somebody said to Srila Prabhupada, when I chant Hare Krishna, I feel this and I feel that, and like thinking that he's getting some kind of higher sentiment. And Prabhupada's reply to him was, "You just carry on chanting, it'll go away, don't worry." So we're more or less on that stage, And I remember especially when we joined early on, and we had a kind of steady diet of the Krishna book, learning about Krishna's Leela from Prabhupada's summary of the 10th canto in Krishna book. And many devotees used to say, "Oh, I really feel some affinity to the cowherd boys," and but that's all saguna actually, We don't have any higher capacity for relishing Krishna's Leela. But having said that, Krishna's Leela with the cowherd boys is generally safe for us. So in Guru Maharaj, one time one of our sannyasis, he's not a sannyasi anymore, I hasten to add, but he asked Guru Maharaj, "Oh, I heard somewhere that this particular place, the cowherd girls were going and they're collecting flowers from there in the morning to make garlands and so on. And suddenly Krishna appears there and says, 'Oh, these flowers belong to me. And if you want to take these flowers, then you have to purchase them. And the purchase price is a kiss.'" So then he tells this to Guru Maharaj, and then he says to Guru Maharaj, could you tell us something about this? And Guru Maharaj said, you should not allow your mind to think about this for even a moment. He said, you can consider Krishna's Leela with the cowherd boys in Sakya Rasa up to a point. But to go further than that is dangerous for you in your particular stage. So we're prone, as Guru Maharaj would say, fools rush in where angels fear to tread. And we are certainly not fit to contemplate these higher things. And why is because we will, out of necessity, we will project our mundane idea onto it. When I was younger, my penchant was for collecting books. I'd go to every temple and try and collect some books from there, published by the Gaudiya Math or published by the Ramanuja Sampradaya. Or I've got tons of books at home. And that was my kind of the thing I did, was get all these books. And one time there was available, I don't know if it's still available, there was an English translation of Krishna Karnamrita. This is written by Bilva Mangal Thakur. So it means nectar for the ear of Krishna Katha. Krishna Katha, nectar for the ear. Krishna Karnamritam. So anyway, I got this book. We read in Chaitanya Charitamrita that Mahaprabhu found this book in South India and carried it everywhere with him. It was like one of his favorite books, So I thought, okay, gotta have to go through this. So I started reading it, and it's purely Madhura Rasa book. It's a book of Madhura Leela of Krishna, and Bilva Mangal is a devotee of higher kind of devotee. So I think it's about, I don't know why I keep thinking this, but I think it's verse 23 that it says there, Bilva Mangal says in there, the next verse is going to describe something about Krishna's Leela with Srimati Radharani. If you are not free from from thinking man and woman, then you should not proceed any further than this, because when you hear it, you are bound to think that it's mundane. You'll think of it in a mundane way. So I just closed the book up, put it in my bookshelf, and that's where it is today. Nice layer of dust upon it. I've not opened it since. And then later I heard from Guru Maharaj, right, that at one point that book was out of publication, not the English version, but the version, the original version of Krishna Karnamrita. Couldn't find anywhere. But Guru Maharaj had a copy of it, and he ordered Govinda Maharaj publish this book. And they published, I don't know, 1,000 or 3,000 copies of that book. And then after publishing it, Gurudev bought it to Guru Maharaj, showed it to him. Guru Maharaj was satisfied. And then Guru Maharaj told him, you may not sell this book to anyone or give it to anyone. And then Gurudev said, well, then why did we publish it? He said, so that it would not become lost to the world. For that reason we published it. But it is not for distribution to anyone, as far as Guru Maharaj was concerned. And even Guru Maharaj would say to his godbrothers, senior disciples of Saraswat Thakur, many of them senior to Guru Maharaj, you may be qualified to study these things, but still I say you should not, because our Guru Maharaj did not allow it. Simple as that. If it's not the order of the Guru, then it will be karma, not bhakti. Even to study a holy book like that. So anyhow, so dealing with these things is not just a matter of whim. I like that pastime when Krishna does this with, like that. No, this is all, within this our mundane idea. And so it puzzled me though, what Bilbo Mongol had said there. If you hear it and you're not free of the conception of men and women, then it's not even saying sex desire. It's saying that you think about a man and a woman as in a different way. You know, you think about their sex, if you like, not sexually, but about their sex. You see differentiation between it. If you hear this next verse, you must think it mundane. So that puzzled me. Maybe it was just the way it was worded in English. I can't say. But I thought about it for a long time. That if I read that, I won't think it's mundane, surely. I'm not going to read that and go, oh, that's just mundane, isn't it? You know. And I thought, that can't be the meaning of what he's saying. And I believe that I'm correct in my conclusion, is that it is not that you'll think it's mundane, it's that you'll project your mundane idea onto it. Because the Leela of Radha and Govinda, the Madhura Leela of Radha and Govinda, has nothing at all to do with the relationships between men and women of this world. And that's all we know. We only know about the relationship between men and women in this world. And mundane sexuality, that's what we know. And we don't know anything about the higher Leela of Radha and Govinda. But we'll hear it, and projecting our mundane conception onto it, we'll go, nectar. Do you understand? We'll think that that we are relishing some nectarian thing, and no doubt it is a nectarian thing for those who are capable of relishing nectarine things. But that's not us. We must think of it in a similar way to men and to the relationship between men and women that we know about in this material world. We don't have any other point of reference. Once I was giving a talk in our temple in SoCal, and there was some guests there. It was the Sunday talk, and in SoCal, very close to Santa Cruz, and there's like lots of hippies live there, you know. So there's this like hippie couple there, and one of them was telling something, and then this man he chimes up. He has to say something, you know. So he says, "I just want to say something." Okay, what do you want to say? And he said, "No one can ever understand the relationship between Radha and Krishna unless they know about the love of a man and a woman in this world." And I said, well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but that's the absolute opposite of that, you know. The knowledge of relationships between men and women in this world is actually a bar for us understanding those things. And we're not to try and let our, dirty little mind to go there. Srila Guru Maharaj said, we're not voyeurs. We're not going with like a voyeuristic approach, to try and peep into the bedroom of God, see what he's up to in there, That will be very detrimental for us. So, then don't go there. When you're fit for those things, they will descend upon you. They will come into your consciousness irresistibly. You won't be able to stop that. You won't be able to resist that. But, Srila Guru Maharaj, quoting Saraswati Thakur, and he himself would often say, first deserve, then desire. So the most important thing is to make yourself, first of all, fit for those things. And your fitness for that isn't to be judged by you. It is to be judged by the higher devotees, not by you or I. So, then it's a very dangerous thing that we should try to look into those things. And we should be very cautious about that. always cautious about that. As Guru Maharaj would say, not to take the Kohinoor to the marketplace. So you know that. I see there's a shop up the road there. What's it called? No. On the, near East Ham, it's called Kohinoor Grill and Thrill. It's a restaurant, you know. The Kohinoor, it was a diamond. It's actually in the crown of the king, or the queen as it used to be, from India. And one time it was the biggest diamond in the world. Now I think it's been surpassed probably a few times. The Hope diamond may be bigger, but anyway. Everyone heard of the Kohinoor, you know. People used to call their shop the Kohinoor this or the Kohinoor that. We
know it.
Yeah, so, you know. But Guru Maharaj would say not to take the Kohinoor to the marketplace. In other words, of course, you wouldn't walk around with the Kohinoor through Queen's Market. You know, in case somebody... Of course, no one would believe that you had it anyway, but they just think it was glass. But in a more... in a kind of more bland way, our English saying is not to throw pearl before swine. If you have some pearls and you throw them in front of a pig will just eat them. Has no conception of it, the value of that at all. So in a similar way, these higher things we have no right to approach them at all. But it doesn't mean that they're not our property. Guru Maharaj say, doesn't mean that these things are just the property of the Sahajiyas. They are our property, the property of our Sampradaya. But you or I are not the guardian of those things. It's the same. Well, there's so many books written by Rupa Goswami and others, Vishwanath and Baladeva Vijayabhushan and Raghunath Das Goswami, all these many books describing Madhura Leela. Ujjwal Neelamani is an example, written by Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami only wrote 2 books for us. That is Upadeshamrita and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. But just the first part of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. The second part is all about rasa. But Prabhupada translated that as the nectar of devotion. And he only translated the first half, because the second half is way above our pay grade. But many of those books he wrote. So, someone said, Guru Maharaj said, we are not to read those books. Our Guru Maharaj didn't like it, forbid us from doing that. And so someone asked Guru Maharaj, said, and what were they written for? Like, who were they written for? And then Guru Maharaj's reply was, we're not atheists, that if we don't get the whole thing in our hand within one lifetime, then it's all over. They're written for the higher devotees. And if we're not atheists, that means that one day we may be qualified to read those things. But maybe, almost certainly not in this life. But they're not. It's not that books should only be written for us. There's books written for those who can understand those books and can properly honor those books. And Srila Govinda Maharaj said, they're written for us to worship. That was his reply. And the same question, they're written for us to worship. We can worship them. But we are not to, dabble with them. As Guru Maharaj would say, it is not a fun. It means it's not a game, It's not a game. These things are not for our entertainment. Even in Guru Maharaj's mott, you won't see on every wall pictures of Radha and Krishna. You don't see that in Chaitanya Saraswat. And if there is any picture, someone's worshipping that picture. There's they put some cloth around it when it's cold, and they offer some incense every day, maybe some chandan. They're not just for decoration or for our entertainment. This is Guru Maharaj's nature was like that, very guarded against that, that we don't try to make the absolute our entertainment, if you like. But as far as though are those things fixed, usually yes. When your nature is recognized, your inner nature is recognized by a higher devotee, then yes, that's you receive some appropriate sadhana to awaken that within you, and yes, it's usually fixed. But there are examples, especially in the line. We've heard it from Guru Maharaj, so we're going to say that in the line of Lalita Shaki, which is where Rupa Goswami, Rupa Manjari, is the servitor. She's servitor of Lalita Devi. There is examples that sometimes when Lalita Devi sees a particular cowherd boy, she wants to say, "Oh, I want him in our group. His service is so intimate with Krishna. I think we should take him in our group." And in that case, he becomes transformed from a boy to a girl. It has happened. We've heard from Guru Maharaj, it has happened. It may be a very rare thing, but sometimes nothing is impossible, nothing is inconceivable within the absolute. Everything can be there, accommodated there. But it is not wise for us to dwell too much on these higher things. In fact, Guru Maharaj would say, that what we are attempting, striving for, almost impossible for us to get that. Almost impossible. Think about that. Then he gave this whole lecture once, I was there, for about 2 hours, just telling us how impossible it was for us. And at the end of the lecture, I'm sure everyone was feeling the same. Like, we just thought, well, just let the ground open up and swallow me now, I'm like, what's the point? What's the point? We were all thinking that, if it's so impossible, then why? Why are we even striving for it? And then Sudhir Goswami Maharaj was the only one who was brave enough to actually voice that to Guru Maharaj. Then he asked him, then, Maharaj, why, that very question, then if it is almost impossible, then why are we even attempting it? And Guru Maharaj laughed. And he said, don't worry so much about the goal when the process is so much fun. That was his reply. The process is so much fun, why worry about the goal? And it's true, Chant, dance, honor prasadam, hear about Krishna's Leela. These are like amazing things. You can hear amazing things every day in Krishna consciousness. Everybody wants that, right? Why is it that these films like, Lord of the Rings and the X-Men and all these they're blockbuster movies? Because people want that. They want some unbelievable thing in their life, Well, that's Krishna. He's unbelievable. There's, everything is possible for him. Then, then the nicest people you'll ever meet are the devotees of Krishna. I'm speaking generally, of course. And and the most wonderful food you'll ever taste is Krishna's prasadam. When I was a young man, I used to like to going out and eating in restaurants, finding new restaurants to eat there, here and here. There. Now, if my daughter takes me sometimes, for my birthday or something like that, I'm just always disappointed, always. Oh, you go to the temple, it's much better. The prasadam is much better than what they've made,
Or Govinda's restaurant.
Well, yeah, of course, Govinda's. You understand my meaning, so. Anyway, so why we don't need to worry about those higher things, because they'll come when they're meant to come. They are not forever, forever locked away from us. But fools rush in where angels fear to tread, so we shouldn't be over eager for those higher things. Because Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, if you want the best fruit, you have to climb to the top of the tree. Otherwise, the fruits will be spoiled. We all know that was the Aesop's fable, or maybe it's from Panchatantra, where the fox tries to get the grapes, can't reach, so he says, they're sour. They're sour grapes anyway. That's what will happen if we try to get the higher thing when we're not qualified for that. Oh, it doesn't work anyway, this Hare Krishna thing. I tried it, don't work.
So what happens if one doesn't want the highest thing? Because I'm just thinking, because I was attracted to Krishna consciousness not because of getting the Guru Leela and all that sort of stuff. I was attracted to the Guru-disciple relationship. And that basically hasn't changed. I have no desire for aspirations to try and work these different races.
Yeah, but the relationship of guru and disciple is not independent of that. That's part of the relationship between guru and disciple as it develops. So it's the first principle of spiritual life and the last principle. Everyone has a master.
So these different rasas is also within the guru-disciple relationship?
So, yeah, like I said before, depends on the rasa of the guru and the innate rasa of the disciple. But if the guru's genuine, then he can take you as far as you need to go, and then you can go with another guru.
So say if your guru is in the guru rasa,
Yeah.
and your relationship with the guru, does it go through those different stages until it becomes like, something like with Vrinda Maharaj and Sriman Maharaj? Is that like this a unique relationship? It's not.
Yeah, it's certainly not a usual guru-disciple relationship, that's sure. But no, it should be a developing thing. If the guru is genuine, then your realization about Krishna consciousness should become deeper and deeper and deeper. It's not that we just accept a disciple and just work ourselves to an early grave and there's nothing happening internally. There's no point for that. The guru relationship, real relationship between guru and disciple, must be the awakening of your inner life. And every devotee has an inner life. And that relationship is meant to bring that out. But it may be quicker for some and longer journey for others. It may be a journey of many lives. And in that respect, it may be a journey of many gurus. That it's not that somebody asked that to Guru Maharaj, right? Oh, our Prabhupada said that he would, bring every one of his disciples back to Godhead. Does that mean that he'll come again to rescue us, in the future? And Guru Maharaj's reply was, if that were the case, then no guru would ever enter into Krishna's Leela at any time ever. Because the disciples always fallen, aren't they? Fallen, otherwise there's no need. So we have to see that the guru is not just confined to our idea of that person. That we have to see where is the thread coming, and try to recognize our guru. As Guru Maharaj said he gives that example of Aurobindo Ghosh. So Aurobindo Ghosh was an anarchist back in the 1930s, 40s in India, and very famous, Aurobindo, and had many supporters. So he was arrested for sedition because some of his followers were blowing up trains and all kinds of anarchistic pastimes, if you like. So the lawyer who was assigned to his case, his name was Mr. Nixon, and he was prosecuting, and then on the day of the trial, Aurobindo absconded. They couldn't find it where he was anywhere, you know. So Nixon was very astute, and he found this article in a Bengali newspaper, and he believed it was written by Aurobindo under a pen name, and so he called the editor of the newspaper in and asked him, "Do you know who is Aurobindo Ghosh?" He said, "Yes, I consider him one of the greatest men alive." And then he said, "Then did he write this article?" And he said, "I won't say." And he said, "But you're the editor of this newspaper, you must know who wrote it." He said, "Yes, I know." "But so was it him?" "No, I won't say." And he said, "You know that the sentence for perjury is that you'll go to prison?" And he said, "Yes, I know that." He said, "And you're willing to accept that rather than reveal him?" He said, "Yes, I'm ready for that." Then Mr. Nixon held up the article and said, "Here is Mr. Ghosh, I rest my case. This is Mr. Ghosh." So he recognized him by his writing, that it can only be him, and he proved that by bringing the editor of the newspaper in. So Guru Maharaj uses that example to say we should be able to recognize our Guru through his teaching, not just by his body that we see, "Oh, my Guru is Sridhar Maharaj," or "My Guru is Govinda Maharaj." That's true, but what is actually Guru? Guru Maharaj says Guru means the inspired side of a Vaishnava. They have their own subjective existence, but what they are teaching us, that is Guru. That principle is Guru. And Guru Maharaj gives this example that we are fallen souls and we're trying for the grace of God. And God wants to give grace to us. So when he extends his hand to us, if you like, and touches us, where the two meet, that's Guru. That principle is Guru, the principle of Guru. So it may not just be a physical connection. We have to see deeper than that. At the same time, everything about the Guru is worshipable to the disciple. They'll worship his shoe, they worship his cloth, they worship his cane, his temple, his everything, But Guru is more than that. This is one of the 4 tattvas that Guru Maharaj says is not possible to fully understand by the intellect. Guru tattva. Nam tattva, Dham tattva, Shiva tattva and Guru tattva. Not possible to understand with the intellect fully.
Guru lead you to Krishna. How much patience? How long do you have to?
Yes, that is the aspect of Guru means to take the disciple to Krishna. That's why Krishna says Acharya Mam Bhajanayat Navamanye Takarhichit in Srimad Bhagavatam in 11th canto. Krishna says to Uddhava, "I am the Acharya. Never consider him to be a mundane person, because everything that is godly resides in him."
So that means is Guru the same as Krishna? Then?
Yes, in one respect it is, yeah.
So
What's coming through the Guru is Krishna. But the Guru is also the dearmost servitor of Krishna.
yeah.
So there's served Godhead, that means Krishna,
Yeah.
and the servant Godhead means the Guru or the spiritual master.
Yes, I read it in a book. It's a different Maharaj. It's Narayan Maharaj. I read it in this book.
Yeah, there are different, many different gurus. But somebody asked the Guru Maharaj, saying, but Guru is absolute. And Guru Maharaj said, no, Guru is not absolute. Otherwise, why would it be that so many gurus have different opinions about everything? And Guru is not absolute. But the principle of Guru is absolute. but the person guru may not necessarily be absolute. So, and this is a difficult thing to adjust your idea to. So, then somebody asked Guru Maharaj that very question. Why did so many gurus have different opinions about the same thing? How do we harmonize that? And Guru Maharaj said there can only be two reasons why one guru will disagree with another guru. And the first reason, which is the topmost reason, is due to rasa. So if your guru is a Madhura Rasa guru, he have a different idea to the Sakya Rasa guru or Vatsalya Rasa guru. And Guru Maharaj's example is this, that Mother Jashoda, she's Vatsalya Rasa. She wants that Krishna will have a good night's sleep because every day he has to go look after the cows. So he needs to get his rest in the night. This is her thinking. But the cowherd girls who are in Madhura Rasa, they want to take Krishna dancing all night. So they have a different opinion. Like that, two opinions, they're completely the opposite opinion. That's due to rasa. So that's one reason. But the other reason, and more common reason, is due to anartha. Because anartha means that the guru sees the absolute through the filter of his own consciousness. So Guru Maharaj says there's three types of guru. The Uttamadhikari guru, that means they're fully situated in the spiritual world and they're extending their self here. The Madhyamadhikari guru, that means 1 foot here, 1 foot there, and taking the disciples there. And also the Kanishta Adhikari guru, both feet here, but looking towards there. Let's go, we have to go there. Together we can go there. So that all can carry out the function of guru. It doesn't mean just that as soon as somebody makes a seat for themselves and puts on an orange robe that they're guru. Even if they say in the 1970s there was a guy that maybe you might remember, Dafri John, his name was. He was called the Laughing Guru. Dafri John, and he wrote a book. I Am Guru was the title of his book. I never read it, but you can understand the idea. And so, like Srila Govinda Maharaj said, anyone can make a chair for themselves and proclaim that he's Guru.
I mean, a lot of devotees do that. They put clothing on and they think, I'm a devotee.
Well, there's levels. Mahaprabhu told.
I'm better than you. I'm a devotee.
Well,
you're not counted because
that's another thing. But Mahaprabhu told, by my order, you must become guru and liberate this land. So, and don't think that you'll fall prey to, pride and arrogance, because by conducting this service, you will find me there. I will be in the background supporting you. And Srila Prabhupada said it many times, all my disciples must become gurus. Guru is of different types. It doesn't mean that everyone becomes an initiating guru, but everyone who embraces this Krishna consciousness as the sum and bonum of life, they must act as a guru. They must try and help others to come to that line too. Now that's guru of a different, and there are different types of guru. But when Guru Maharaj is speaking about that, he's talking about initiating gurus. So maybe a Kanishta Adhikari initiating guru, Madhyam Adhikari, which is the most common initiating guru, and Uttam Adhikari. But Uttam Adhikari, they have to adopt a kind of prejudice to be able to preach, because Uttam Adhikari by definition means everything's great. Everything's happening just as Krishna wills it. So they don't see Maya at all, the Uttamadhikari. They only see Krishna's Leela. And they can see everything connected with Krishna Leela. Even the man down the road breaking into your house and robbing you, the Uttamadhikari understands how that's connected with Krishna's Leela. So, then how can he preach? Everything's fine, everything's just as Krishna. So then he means he has to come down to the Madhyamadikari level to be able to see Krishna and non-Krishna. And then he can preach. Then he can bring others. Doesn't mean he's no longer an Uttamadikari, but he's come down to the Madhyamadikari level to preach. Means they move and work and live in this world. Uttamadikari, they're not of this world. Gaur-Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he couldn't even write his name. Guru Maharaj said he couldn't even write his own name. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur selected him to be the Diksha Guru of Saraswati Thakur. And we heard, when he's walking down the road, then the children, young boys, they're pelting him with stones, like this crazy old man. They don't know who he is, right? They're pelting him with stones. And he turned around and he said, Krishna, I'm going to tell Mother Jashoda on you if you carry on doing this to me. So this is... He's connecting everything with Krishna's Leela, and everything's okay. So anyhow, so then anartha means that through the filter of my own consciousness, my own, I could say, misconceived consciousness, I'm trying to give Krishna consciousness to others. But it must be defective. As much as I'm defective, what I'm giving must be defective also. So that's why Srila Prabhupada says so many places in his books, try to find an Uttamadikari to be your guru. Otherwise you may not be able to progress any further than your guru, what his adhikari is. Everything is a work in progress. So there are so many things we can understand by that, right? So we don't know how fit somebody is who's giving that service, the service of Guru. But if they have the backing of a higher devotee, then everything's okay. Like at our other center a few weeks ago is under what council? I forget now. Hounslow Council, yeah. So the mayor of Hounslow came to visit the centre, and I had some talks with him, everything. And then one of his aides he's the representative of the king. The mayor is the representative of the king in the borough. So that doesn't mean that he's the king, but he can represent the king there. So if you go to him, it's at least theoretically, to go to him is as good as to go to the king. Not that the king has any executive power in this country anymore anyway, but the principle is that from the ancient time. So similarly, those who have taken that service with their heart and soul, then as much as they're surrendered to their guru, they have the backing of their guru. Then that will be okay. We don't need to so much check what is their adhikari. What is necessary is their adherence to the creed. Then that will be good. That will be healthy. And in this material world is not that there are Uttamadikari devotees hanging out on every street corner. You have to look, and not only just look, but it's a very a case of sukriti, fortune that we come in contact with them. So we know, right? Srila Prabhupada is an Uttamadikari devotee, and by some great fortune we came in connection with him, and also by his grace we came in connection with Guru Maharaj, who is also an Uttamadikari devotee, and through him, and both at the same time, we came in connection with Srila Govinda Maharaj, who's an Uttamadikari devotee. And why do we say they're Uttamadikari? And I haven't got any qualification to say who's an Uttamadikari and who isn't. But because, who said that? Who said that? Well, first of all, Srila Prabhupada, he's kind of like self-effulgent, right? What he's done, no man could do. Spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. No one can do, no ordinary person can do that. And what did he say? The only other person who's qualified to comment on Srimad Bhagavatam in the world is my godbrother Sridhar Maharaj. And and after I'm gone, if you have any philosophical question, you can go to my godbrother Sridhar Maharaj. And if you want a Shiksha Guru, you can go to my godbrother Sridhar Maharaj. Like, so many recommendations. And also recommendations of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He said, I may leave the world, but now I am confident there is one man who can properly represent what I came to give to the world, and that is Sridhar Maharaj. And in a meeting with the devotees, he was talking about all the devotees that were present there, and he said, and also present was, or is, Shastra Nipuna Sridhar Maharaj. Saraswati Thakur called him Shastra Nipuna Sridhar Maharaj. Shastra Nipuna means like genius of scripture. So, and also in a conversation between Srila Prabhupada, A.C. Bhaktivedanta, and Guru Maharaj, the beginning of the conversation, Prabhupada says to Guru Maharaj, he means, he's talking about Saraswati Thakur, Guru Maharaj told me once in Allahabad, in the future Sridhar Maharaj will save our Krishna consciousness. And Guru Maharaj said, really? He said that? Yes, he said that, yeah. Then what did Guru Maharaj say about Govinda Maharaj? He is more qualified than I am to represent this Sampradaya. And he is a natural Paramahamsa. We consider his service never left the Nirguna plane. And so many things. So then we can be confident. As much as we can be confident about anything, we can be confident about that. It's just not like every devotee will say, oh yeah, my guru is an Uttamadhikari devotee. And Guru Maharaj says, every son may say, my mother's the best mother in the whole world. And you can buy a card in the shop that says best mother in the world, right? Or a little trophy or whatever. So every child may think that about their mother. But if you were to impartially examine, you'd find, well, actually this mother's better than that mother. Like if you look from a unbiased point of view. So everyone will say, yeah, my guru is the best guru. That's only natural, But it's a little childish to think in that way. It's like when we're at school and you say, I remember, boys used to say, yeah, well, my dad's in the Army, Air Force and the Navy, so you'd beat your dad up easy, in a fight. Yeah, well, my dad, that's what kids say in the schoolyard, isn't it? But we're not supposed to be kids anymore. My guru is better than your guru and all this nonsense. The guru is one. We should try and understand that. Guru is one. And also, at the time it was very necessary, and I refer back to it again and again and again, and I refer devotees to it also, who wants to understand what is Guru, who is Guru. Read Sri Guru and His Grace by Srila Sridhar Maharaj, that book. It's the book about who is Guru, what is Guru, and you'll find that mostly that book is from conversations between Srila Sridhar Maharaj and the senior ISKCON devotees after Prabhupada left the world. So there Guru Maharaj is explaining that. Guru, God Brother Guru, everything, the whole thing. You can understand what is Guru there. It's important for us to understand as much as we are able to understand these things. But we cannot understand fully that by the intellect. Because it is an extraordinary that the will of God can become manifest through an individual. How we can understand that. Srila Prabhupada was very plain about it. He told one reporter asking, "Oh, why you're going in a Rolls Royce car?" John Lennon gave him his Rolls Royce so he could go in the Rolls Royce. They picked him up at the airport. Why are you going in Rolls Royce and all this? And he was in Chicago. But maybe they'd seen something, but the reporter's asking. And at that time, Nasi Maharaj, who was Sri Govinda, he was the president of the Chicago temple. So Guru Maharaj, so Prabhupada asked him, how many cars we have here in the temple? And they told, we got so many vans, we got so many cars. And he said, the reporter said, and you're also going in the Rolls Royce? And Prabhupada said, yes. It is your richest country in the world, and I am representative of God, then it is only fit that my disciples should honor their guru in this way. But I am not making much of that because you are envious. He told the reporter, because you are envious. You not like it. Why he's going in a Rolls Royce and I'm not. Of course, Prabhupada had his own style, but what he taught is correct. One should honor Guru as God. That's normal. And not just Guru, right? According to Vedic tradition, if you should honor the unexpected guest as God. If an unexpected guest comes to your house, you should consider, this is God come in the form of this person. So this is part of that culture where everything is reverential and everything is considered in a godly way. I want to speak of the actual Guru. Guru means Krishna. And we should not be envious of the Guru or consider the Guru to be a mundane person. But we should, at the same time, we should also know who is Guru. Not mean to say like what's his name and address, but what is Guru? What is the principle of Guru? Because everybody can say, yes, I'm a Guru. Come and worship me. But then the scripture comes to help us there. The qualifications of a devotee is there. In fact, it's one of the things that is told in the scripture in Srimad Bhagavatam, not to accept many disciples or to build many temples. This recommendation is given there. But those who are uttamadikari, they can do anything. They can make hundreds of temples and thousands of disciples, and they're not harmed by that. If ordinary people venture to do that, even with the best will in the world, then if they take some bad disciple, some bad reaction may come to them. Because Guru is a big position, it's a heavy position. In fact, the word Guru means heavy. Heavy like the Himalayas. Guru is heavy, means unmovable. And we are lagu, means we are light. We're just blown around by our mind and by the wind, and like the wind. So lagu needs to come under the shelter of Guru to be safe. But who is Guru? What is Guru? All of these things that we have to find out from the scripture, and from, not just from the scripture, but from the reliable devotees. Reliable devotees. But mainly we are not fit to know, actually. You only become fit to know when you become fit to know. So we're kind of like floundering a little bit. Oh, he's a guru. Yes, he's a guru. She's a guru. They're a guru. I don't know quite where to go. So then you have to ask your inner voice. That Srila Maharaj said, that generally, according to the Vedic idea, scriptural idea, if three things are in consonance, that constitutes the absolute truth. That means if the scripture says it's so, if the sadhu says it's so, and if the guru says it's so, if those three things all agree, then that you can say that constitutes the absolute truth. But Srila Sridhar Maharaj, he said, no, there's a fourth factor that we have to consider, and that fourth factor is the approval of the heart. The approval of the heart. The same inner voice that told you, yes, this is something valuable, something real, that brought us to the Krishna conception of Godhead. That same voice within us, the Chaitanya Guru within us, will not be treacherous to us. You can rely on that voice if you can filter out all the noise that's around that. Because our mind is always there telling us something. And mind may not always be true. Most people, they mistake their mind for the Chaitanya Guru. So then we're in trouble. Chaitanya Guru will lead us to the Mahanta Guru and can confirm what you thought is real or not real. But if Guru Maharaj said, if you're not in the market to be deceived, then no one can deceive you. The problem is we're all deceivers. We like to deceive others, and worse than that is to deceive ourselves. So, it said, one who takes their mind as their guru has a fool as a disciple. But inside of each of us, Krishna is there, the Antarjami is there. And he can speak to us sometimes. Yes. That voice that led us to Krishna consciousness in the beginning is reliable. You just have to filter out all the noise around it to be able to understand that. And we have no other choice, right? We have to go by our inner voice. We don't have any other choice. We have to go. Whatever anyone else recommends to us, we still have to answer our inner voice. No choice but that. And so maybe you will be deceived sometimes. It may happen. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur says even a bad road can lead later on to a good road. So Guru Maharaj would say, sincerity is indomitable. If you are sincere, then today or tomorrow your sincerity will bring you to the truth. Sometimes we don't like the truth. But I heard it yesterday from a Benedictine monk, and he said, they were at a conversation, and I was watching it on the television, and someone said, but if the truth isn't what I want to hear, maybe it's the bad choice, in this particular situation, maybe the truth is the bad choice, And he said, the truth is never the bad choice. It can never be the bad choice. And we all know the old saying, the truth will set you free. So if I'm not maybe for some time, someone might be able to deceive me. But if I am sincere, then ultimately we must come to the path of truth. Because we're not dealing with an impersonal absolute. We're dealing with a person. And that person is, although he's the controller and the origin and the enjoyer of everything, he's our friend. He doesn't want to do any harm to us. He wants to do good to us. So we have to have faith that if I put my fate in his hands, I'm not going to be taken down the dark alleyway and stabbed in the back. He will take us to the truth, if that's what I want. But you have to be sure about what you want, because a lot of people want a lot of different things in this world. They're thinking what is their necessity. They want that. So Guru Maharaj said, you have to be sure that you're not serving illusion in a godly form. Because sometimes Maya can come looking like Krishna. And you think you are serving Krishna, but actually you're serving Maya. You have to be sure that who you are serving is Krishna. And so even Srila Govinda Maharaj said, if there's a knock on your door and you open the door and Krishna's standing there, you must disbelieve your own self so much that you'll make your obeisance to Krishna and say, I have to check with my Gurudev that you are actually Krishna. So, that is necessary for us.
Demon, there was one demon, isn't it? You pretend that he was a Krishna.
Yeah, what was his name? Yeah, his name was, I forget now. But yeah, there is that, Pundraka. He was the imitation Krishna. And in the time of Bhaktivinoda Thakur too, there was this man who was telling everyone that he's Krishna. And everyone believed him. And especially the ladies. He liked to have many lady disciples. And, then Bhaktivinoda Thakur called him out as he was a magistrate, called him out as a fake and had him arrested. His name was something like Vishvakshena or something, his name. Anyway, they put him in the prison. And when he was coming in front of the judge and everything, he's showing all kinds of mystic power. He had some mystic power. And the judge and his family, they're becoming sick. And like it was his curse. And everyone's saying, oh, you've got to accept he's Vishnu. And then one of the clerks in the court, while he was standing in the court, he very bravely jumped behind him and cut off his hair. He was keeping all his power in his hair. We see many mystics, they do that. They cut off his hair, he became like impotent. But it was a long court case, but Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he wouldn't back down. Excuse me. And our Guru Maharaj, he said, in maybe the 1950s, when Guru Maharaj is in Chaitanya Saraswat Math, he said one of his disciples came to him and said, oh, there's this man, some like mystic, who's claiming to be Krishna, and he's living in this place in Navadvip, and my wife is very attracted to go and see him, and I don't know what to do. So then Guru Maharaj told him, yes, of course, it's nonsense. It's not Krishna. It's some cheating person. So, he used to give like some intimate initiation in the middle of the night to the ladies. So this devotee, his wife, she went to his house in the middle of the night. But unknown to her, her husband also went and hid in his room, in a cupboard in his room, to see like what's going to happen with my wife, Then his wife came in, it's like midnight or something, Then he tells her, you sit on the bed and I'll tell the secret mantra to you. Then he sat next to her and he whispered in her ear, Tumi Radhe Amisha. And then when he told that mantra, said her husband, he leapt out of the cupboard, he had a big stick, and he said, and my lati is Balaram, and gave him a good beating. So it happens. We know it happens. Even in Guru Maharaj's time. My lati is Balaram. But I don't know, something inside us sometimes wants to be deceived because we want something cheap and quick. But we should not be allow ourselves to go for the cheap and quick, because almost always it's wrong or it's faulty. As Guru Maharaj is saying, they don't recognize, what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is given, this whole process of reaching to Krishna Prema. The Sahajas, they don't recognize that. They just think, if I dress up as a gopi, I'm a gopi, They think like that. You see it, right? They're called the Shaki Beki. You see them in Navadvip sometimes, in Vrindavan. These ugly looking women. They're not women, they're men dressed up as women. And they're thinking that, then he said, I heard from Guru Maharaj, he said, one of his godbrothers, they were making some program, and one of Guru Maharaj's godbrothers confronted one of these gopis, and he said very strongly, he opposed him, and he said, then the man came out. She was a gopi, but then the man, when he felt himself threatened, then the man came out. It's not just play. It is something very serious. But of course, wherever the light is brightest, the shadow is always darkest. So then it is a fact. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he wrote a song. It is called Prakrita Sahajya Shatadushini. 100 faults in the conceptions of the Sahajas. So we use that term very broadly, Sahajya, and we say the imitationists. But the Sahajya, the actual Sahajya, is one of the deviant sampradayas who profess to be the followers of Chaitanya Dev. They were when Bhaktivinoda Thakur was living, they were so prominent that the normal people, normal Hindu people, they hated the followers of Chaitanya Dev because they thought this was who they were. And there are all kinds, Ols, Bols, Saki Beki, Gaura Nagari. And he identified 100 deviant sampradayas. And he said that is just like the main ones. There's more. There's so many more of these. And they all have some different conception. And the actual Prakrita Sahajya. So maybe you see that lady, the hugging lady. What's she called? Amma. Yeah? You see her when she comes, she visits places. And she advertises Sahajya Yoga. She advertises her path, Sahajya Yoga.
Oh, yeah.
So, but we say Sahajya, we don't mean the same thing as what she means. Sahajya means what's natural, that which is natural. So, Krishna's Leela is called Aprakrita Sahajya Leela. That means it looks like the dealings of people in this world, but it's not. It's similar, Guru Maharaj said, similar in appearance, but categorically different. So then one of those 100 sampradayas, they are called Prakrita Sahajya. So that means they think by imitating Krishna's Leela and dressing up and doing all these things, that they are actually entering into Krishna's Leela. If you think that you're the lover of Krishna, you become the lover of Krishna. And the thing that falls short is they're not sure who they should accept as Krishna. Because there has to be somebody that they do their dance with. Anyway, they actually have a philosophical treatise which says that basically you can experience Krishna Prema through sexual intercourse with a concubine. That's Prakrita Sahaja Vad. But we use it in a very broad term, meaning all of those that are imitationists. And so many of them. I have one godbrother, and he's a good man, but not so knowledgeable about things. And just near the Ghat in Mayapur, when you get off the boat from Navadvip, there's a temple of Gaur Gadadhar there, and their guru's name is Gadadhar Pran. And you go to that temple, and they worship Gaur Gadadhar, but they dress Gaur up as Krishna and Gadadhar as Radharani, and they worship like that. So this is called Gauranagari, this idea, Gauranagari, that Krishna is the Nagari. Nagari means enjoyer, you know. So they think that Mahaprabhu, because he's Krishna, he should also be enjoyer. And because Gadadhar Pandit is Radharani, he should enjoy with Gadadhar Pandit. But no kind of relationship like that ever existed between Mahaprabhu and Gadadhar Pandit. But they dress their deity as Radha and Krishna, but it's called Gadadhar. And sometimes he was posting pictures. Oh, so beautiful. You know, he doesn't know, but it is a offensive conception. There's so many, and like, you know, we could sit here all afternoon and discuss all of those.
So only in Mayapur is like there's Maya in Mayapur, yoga people.
Yeah, you mean there's... Yeah, that Mahaprabhu, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's worship was the worship of Gaur Gadadhar. When Gurudev was making that temple of water play for Mahaprabhu in Navadvip, there they made the Govinda Kund, like Govinda Kund in Vrindavan. Before, when we first came, it was just a pond there, you know, and then it was owned by some milkmen, but Guru Maharaj wanted to show that this is Govinda Kund, and that where our mott is Gupta Govardhan, hidden Govardhan in Navadvip. And at the foot of Govardhan is Govinda Kund. So Srila Govinda Maharaj arranged to purchase it. They built the wall. They excavated the whole thing, and they built with steps going down like that. When we would go to see Guru Maharaj, when you get off the train, you tell the rickshaw driver, Kole Danga Mat. And then they would take you to Kole Danga Mat. This is Guru Maharaj's Mat. But now, they don't know Kole Danga Mat. They know Jal Mandir. The Jal Mandir. So you go to the Jal Mandir now. And then, why was I saying that? Lost my train of thought now. Oh, you Gaur Gadadhar, thank you. So yeah, then Gurudev was asking us, which deity should we put in the temple in the middle of the Kund there? And Avadut Maharaj, he chimed up, Gaur Gadadhar, we can put Gaur Gadadhar there. And then Gurudev looked at him and said, can you explain what is the worship of Gaur Gadadhar? He said, no, I don't know. It just came out, Gaur Gadadhar, why not? Now this is a bhajan, the internal worship of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It is very esoteric and very difficult to understand. And we're not just worshipping things for, whimsically. One man came here and he asked me, very nice, your altar, but why not have some representative of Jesus on there and some representative of Muhammad and maybe Buddha and this one and that? And I said, well, you don't just make it up, So we thought, this looks good, this will be... No, this is actually established by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Mahaprabhu Sri Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahiyanya. This is what this represents. Not just something we threw together because it looked nice or something. So, there is some method to our madness. And we have to be... in everything there's a proper way to do, and there's also a wrong way to do. And we should try to, as best as we can, to follow our Guru Parampara. That's disciplic succession, means Guru Parampara. When, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was given the title Siddhanta Saraswati by the Indian Association of Jyotish, because he's a Jyotish, right? That means astrologer and astronomer. And he was expert at that. He wrote a commentary on the Surya Siddhanta, which is considered one of the, authoritative books on astronomy and Vedic astronomy, Vedic astrology. He wrote a commentary on that. And they say that maybe it was Herschel or somebody who discovered, or is acclaimed as discovering Pluto, the planet Pluto, although I think it's been downgraded from a planet now. It's not a planet anymore. But they say it was a German, I believe, scholar called Herschel who discovered it. Said this is where you'll find it if you look through your telescope. But he found that by reading Saraswati Thakur's commentary on Surya Siddhanta, because he gives the location of Pluto. Pluto means Jamalok, is Jamaraj's planet. And anyway, so the Jyotish, they recognized him as Siddhanta Saraswati. That's where he was given that title. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, when he was calculating the Vaishnav calendar, he used the almanac of P.N. Bakshi, who was a renowned astrologer at that time. But Saraswati Thakur, he followed a different almanac. So there's some difference in the calculation method and everything, right? Then when they asked, then whose calculation should we follow? He said, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's calculation. This is Guru Parampara. We always follow our Guru, not, even if we think we know a better way of doing it. No, what our Guru is given, that's Guru Parampara. Not that we'll just make something up, or not just make it up, even if it's authorized. Saraswati Thakur was a brilliant astrologer then, an astronomer. But he said, no, we accept Bhaktivinoda Thakur's calculation and follow that. And also, just incidentally, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he observed his appearance day according to the solar calendar. How, your birthday, my birthday. That's how when he observed his birthday, according to the solar calendar. Anyway, these are all technical things, but Guru Parampara means we follow in the footsteps of the predecessors. What they have given, that we know to be authoritative. But even so, there's still the possibility of misrepresenting that, because everything that we hear goes through the filter of our own misconceived consciousness. But Lord Brahma was teaching his disciples. Some of his disciples were devas, and some of his disciples were asuras. And so, one disciple asked him, "Who am I?" This question. And Lord Brahma, his reply was, "You are Atman." And all the devatas, hearing that, they concluded, "Oh, I am spirit. I'm spirit." But all the asuras, when they heard it, that means I'm the body. Because Atma has different meanings according to how context that it's used in. The asuras understood, that means I'm my body. The devatas, no, it means I'm the soul. Same answer, but going through a different filter, you see. Who receives that? And that's always the difficulty. Even Krishna says that in the Gita, right? I gave this imperishable science to Viveshan long time ago. And over time it became corrupted by time. So now I'm giving again to you to make it, to re-establish the truth. But that's what happens. You know, they call it Chinese whispers, don't they? Of course, you're not allowed to call it that anymore because that's politically incorrect. But it means, you know, it's like a game that we used to play at school, right? You say something to your friend, and then they say it to their friend, and then you go around, and when it comes to the last person, generally what they said is completely different to what the first person said. They call it Chinese whispers. So that's just the nature of this material world. Time and, you know, everything even the divine teachings of Lord Krishna becomes corrupted by this material world. Actually, the truth never becomes corrupted, but our perception of it and our teaching of it becomes colored by our misconceived ideas. So that's why Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada, when he gave his commentary on Bhagavad Gita, that's why he called it Bhagavad Gita as it is. Not as I would like it to be, but as it is, as it actually is. Because Krishna says what he means, and he means what he says. You don't need any interpretation. Many it represents the mind and the body, and Krishna is this, and Arjuna represents that. And when he says this, when Krishna says, Sarvadharmam, surrender unto me, he doesn't actually mean him, he means the Brahman which is within all of us. And you know, there's so many misinterpretations that Prabhupada had to say, no, this is as it is. This is as Krishna explained it. Not as you, rascal, he would say. Not as you, rascal, want to explain it.
That's why he said fools right.
Yeah.
So the other people wrote it's not right.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying everyone, but before Prabhupada's Gita in English, there were at least 20 different English renditions of Bhagavad Gita available.
More so, yeah.
Probably more, yes. But I can tell you with almost certainty that not one of those Gitas made anyone become a devotee of Krishna. They're all studying it from some other idea. You know, everyone recognizes a great literature, all these things. But not one of them became a devotee of Krishna after reading that. But after reading Bhagavad Gita as it is, thousands of people became devotees of Krishna, and still becoming devotees of Krishna because of that. So yeah, this Srila Prabhupada says in his own purport, only a devotee of Krishna can understand the meaning of Bhagavad Gita.
Krishna said that to Arjuna.
Yeah. So, you know, then this is who you have to hear from. Not from some scholar or from, you know, some professor from this university or that university, or some prime minister. That was that prime minister of India, Raj Gopalachari. He was a prime minister. He wrote a commentary on Bhagavad Gita. It's basically, his commentary says, this is just made up, like you can say almost like fairy tales to teach some moral principles or something like that, you know. Prabhupada knew him, and Prabhupada chastised him heavily. What you are told, then. There you are. So, Bhagavad Gita as it is. You won't go wrong with that. You won't go wrong with that. And not just Gita, but all of the scripture must be as it is. And amongst the Vedantists, you know, the different schools of the 6 schools of Indian philosophy, and one of them is Vedanta. And of Vedanta is in 2 parts. One is represented by the interpretation of Shankara, and the other is the representation of the Vaishnavacharyas, who are in the line with Vedavyas. So the Vaishnavacharyas, they say, what Vyas has given is plain and obvious. He has given it as it is. And Shankara is saying, no, it means this, the indwelling this and that and that. That's why Mahaprabhu told us, don't study Shankara's commentary on Gita, because you'll become an atheist. And why is it? Why will you become an atheist? Because it's Lord Shiva. Shankara is Lord Shiva. He can tell you anything and you must believe it. He's Lord Shiva. So But that is part, it was necessary for him to come and give that interpretation of the Veda, that interpretation of Vedanta at that particular time. The fault is not with him. It was necessary for him to do that. But Ramanuja, especially Ramanuja and Madhvacharya, they completely defeated his explanation of Vedanta and showed the real interpretation of Vedanta. But everything is necessary in a particular time and place. But why it's still standing not to study that? Because he's Lord Shiva. If Lord Shiva wants to convince you that the night is day and that black is white, you believe it. You cannot but believe it. Then better steer away from that. All right, we have to stop now. I could carry on talking all afternoon, as you know, but now we have to worship Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Sham Sundar. Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Sundar Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Guru Gauranga Radha Sham Sundar Giridhari Ji Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Om.
Jai Jai